What does the LGBTIQA+ mean? Sometimes referred to as the queer alphabet, this video is designed to explain what the acronym means, breaking down each letter and the terms and how they relate to people. We're going to give it an easy to understand terms so that people with autism, their families and carers will have a better understanding. You may have seen the shorter abbreviations, LGBT or LGBTQ or even LGBTQ+. We're going to go line by line and explain each one so that you'll have a better understanding.
Alright, let's start with the first letter. L is for lesbian. A lesbian is a woman or a non-binary person who is attracted to a woman or another non-binary person. Lesbians are sometimes referred to as sapphic, and other terms such as women loving women, non-binary loving women, or non-binary loving non-binary. Lesbian is a noun, as in she is a lesbian, or they are a lesbian, or he is a lesbian. It can also be an adjective, as in I like to support lesbian artists.
What about the second letter? G for gay. Gay people are often men or non-binary people who are attracted to other men or non-binary people. Gay is usually referred to for men, but is often used as an umbrella term, like homosexuality. It could be a man loving a man, a non-binary person loving a man, or a non-binary person loving another non-binary person. We might often hear people say, he's gay, she's gay, or they're gay.
The third letter of the LGBTQIA+ alphabet is B, which stands for bisexual. A bisexual person is a person of either sex who is attracted to two genders or sexes. A bisexual person may be any gender or sex themselves. And they also might be equally attracted to the gender or sex they prefer, or they might prefer one over the other. A bisexual person can often be referred to as bi. Research has shown approximately 10% of the population anywhere in the world is same-sex attracted. That means that 1 in 10 people are lesbian, gay, or bisexual.
The fourth letter, T. T is for transgender, often referred to as trans. Trans people feel that their biological sex is different to their gender identity. For example, they might have been born a male and they identify as female. These people have a mismatch between their body and their gender identity. These are transgender people or trans people. Transgender is a kind of body diversity, where you say trans people are gender diverse. It's important to remember that not all trans people share the exact same gender identity, or even gender expression, and some of these trans people can change over time. It's also good to remember that just because someone is trans doesn't mean that they need to be all the way transitioning, and they don't stop being trans once they finish their transition. They can be anywhere in between and still identify with the label trans. The fifth letter, I, intersex. This is one of the more complicated ones. Someone that is intersex is when their sexual and reproductive anatomy doesn't fit their typical biological definitions. They might be described as intersex. It's an umbrella term for bodies outside the male-female binary. There's lots of ways that people can be intersex. Sometimes the difference can be in the sexual organs or the genitalia, or hormones or chromosomes. It affects a very small percentage of the population, and it's often invisible.
Q is queer. It's the sixth letter of the LGBTQIA alphabet. Queer is an umbrella term for the whole alphabet. Queer refers to a non-normative sexual orientation or gender identity. Queer people reject norms associated with sex and gender. It used to be used as a slur, but now it is reclaimed and embraced by the community, and it can refer to everyone under the rainbow.
A, the seventh letter. A is for aspectrum. The A-spectrum is an umbrella term to cover a group of identities regards the absence of sexual desire, gender, and romantic attraction. It is often erased and rarely talked about, and includes such sub-identities as demisexual and grey sexual. It's important to remember that just because someone is asexual doesn't mean that they don't want to have relationships or even have sexual intercourse, but it usually means that those things are lower or limited. And lastly in our alphabet, we have the plus. The plus is to encompass all the other things that are not normally defined within the alphabet, such as pansexual, or P for short, or pan for short. These are people whose romantic, sexual, and gender attraction is not limited or defined by other people's sex or gender identity. Pansexuals experience attraction to all sexes and genders. We also might include non-binary. They are neither male or female. They don't fit into what we would consider the two gender sexes. Or agender, someone who is non-conforming or genderless, rejecting the idea of gender entirely. And also the plus, sometimes referred to more to come. The understanding that right now we might not know everything and there's more genders and sexual identities to come. And lastly, we always like to include our allies. Although they are not experiencing the same sort of level of oppression or impact that we do, it's important to understand that they get to experience it through the relationships and families that we have, and that they are part of our community. Thank you so much for watching. We've made these videos to help educate yourself and your family so you can have a better understanding of queer people. If you want to look for more resources to educate yourself, you can search for such terms under LGBTIQA+, and then add things such as health, safety, resources, well-being, information, education, or even queer. You can also look at such websites as Stonewall UK, one of the biggest, oldest queer support information resources out there, or look at community resources such as the LGBTIQA Wiki, which is a constantly growing community source that is developed and put together by the community to help educate people. Thank you so much for watching.